What is up guys, Nico here and welcome back to another video here on the channel. And for today we're going to talk about the Mirfak WE10 Pro. Alright, so first of all, just a disclaimer before we start. Mirfak Audio Philippines sent me this WE10 Pro, but I will be completely honest with my review of this microphone system. And yes, I am a brand ambassador of Mirfak, but I told them that I'm going to be honest in this review, also for them to improve the products in the future. All right, so the Mirfak WE10 Pro is a dual transmitter compact wireless system. So you can have actually two people mic'd up when using the system. And actually I am using the Mirfak WE10 Pro right now. The receiver is on my A7siii. One of the transmitters is here, but it's not turned on. And the other one is actually here. It's the one you're hearing since the start of this video. Alright, so let's start with some basic specs of the WE10 Pro. Again, it's a dual transmitter lavalier microphone system, or a wireless system. Speaking of lavaliers, it comes with two lavalier microphones, one for each transmitter. It also comes with a charging cable, which is, the first time I'm seeing this included in the product. It's like 1 to 3 cables, so one charger can charge all 3 units, the receiver and the 2 transmitters at the same time. Now let's go to the transmitter. The transmitter has a a jack wherein you could place the lavalier mic. It has 3 indicators: a charge indicator, a line indicator wherein this is what you look at to check if the transmitter and the receiver is synced up, and a record light to know if you are recording. Yes, the WE10 Pro has a feature that you could actually do backup recording in the transmitter. You just need to insert a micro SD card into the unit. Now on the other side of the transmitter, that's where you'll see the slot for the micro SD. You have a USB-C slot to charge the unit and a switch to be able to record. So as long as the transmitter is turned on and you flip the switch to the record side, then this will start recording anything that it hears into that micro SD card. All right, now let's go to the receiver. On the receiver, on one side, you've got 3 buttons. Number 1 is the decibel button, where you could change the settings of how loud the receiver will pick up the audio from the transmitters. And you've got 5 settings: -18, -6, 0, 3, and 6. Now in the middle, you've got a mute button, so that if you are on a break or still recording but you don't want the transmitters to pick up the audio, then you could always have that option of muting the microphones. And the third button on that side is a low pass filter button, wherein you could basically kill all the frequencies below those levels. So you've got a 0 setting wherein it's not engaged. You've got a -170 and -230. So those are the 3 buttons on that side. When we go to the other side of the receiver, you've got 2 3.5mm jack connections. One is for the cable that you connect from the receiver to your device, whether it's a mirrorless camera or a smartphone, which also comes, the WE10 Pro comes with 2 types of cables: the TRS to TRS cable for cameras, and the TRS to TRRS cable if you want to use this with your smartphones. Now you also got another 3.5 millimeter jack there, which is for the earphones, because yes, you could monitor the sounds that is coming from this mic system. And last but not the least, you've got the power button on the receiver. I think I forgot to mention that on the transmitter. Yeah, it has a power button, so there. Alright, so for this video, I'm going to do different tests with this microphone. I'm going to test it with just the unit clipped on your shirt. I'm going to test the different decibel levels from -18 to 6. I'm also going to test this with the included lavalier mic. Let's see if there is a difference in sound quality. Again, I will test it from -18 to 6. I'm also going to test the internal recording function or the backup recording function of the transmitters. And probably the last test that I'm going to do is a range test, because in the box it says that it can go as far as 30 meters. So let's see if it can really go up to 30 meters, or if it can exceed it, or if it couldn't reach 30 meters. All right, so now let's do some audio tests with the Mirfak WE10 Pro. Now, the two common ways that I've seen people use these types of compact wireless systems is by one, just clipping it on the shirt, and number two, using it like a traditional wireless microphone, which is using it with a lavalier microphone. There you go. So this is the included lavalier mic with the WE10 Pro. So let's test that later on. So right now I'm going to let you hear the range of the decibel settings of the WE10 Pro. So right now it's at -6, but let's start back at -18, which is the softest setting. So this is -18 with the WE10 Pro with the transmitter just clipped on to your shirt. So this is -18. We are back to -6. In this part, I'm not going to do any post-processing, no editing, even levels. I won't change the levels since we are testing out the decibel levels, which I probably edited, the early parts. Now, we are at 0. This is 0 setting on the receiver, mic check. So how does it sound? We are at 3. Also, for reference, my A7sii's volume is set at 12, all right? And last is 6. This is the loudest. I don't know if I'm clipping. I can't see the monitor right now, but yeah. So this is the loudest setting. This is 6. Let's go back to -6 because I from my previous tests earlier, I think this is the most flexible, at least with my setting, that you can use to have room for to not clip, and is loud enough so that you won't bring up the levels much in post production. All right, so now let's test the lavalier mic. All right, so now I am mic'd up using the lavalier mic connected to the transmitter of the WE10 Pro here, as you can see. So mic check, let's test this. So this is again at -6. Let's go back down to -18. So this is -18 on the receiver of the WE10 Pro. I'm probably guessing you won't hear much. So let's go to -6 again. Again, mic check, mic check. Do you hear a difference in terms of the loudness when it's the lavalier mic being used instead of, straight from the unit? This is 0 on the receiver. Mic check, mic check. I'm going to listen to it right after this test so I could give you my feedback about it. And we are on the level 3 in the dB settings of the receiver. Mic check, mic check. Now I am at level 6, the loudest we can go here on the receiver of the WE10 Pro. Let's go back to -6. All right, so there's the test. I don't know if there is a difference. I'm going to listen to it now, and if I can hear a difference in terms of, you know, the decibel level or the real life loudness, then I'll probably do a side by side. All right, let me just check it. All right, so I just checked the audio, I listened to it, and I think that if you listen carefully to, you know, those two clips using number one just the unit and number two with the lavalier mic, I think you could really hear that there is a difference in terms of the level output. Like the unit, when you are using this without the lavalier mic, it is so much louder with the lavalier mic. So just take note of that if you are, you know, setting your camera up at a certain level and then you switch from using just this with the lavalier mic. Just remember that there is a difference in the volume, in the output of the sound of those two setups. All right, so right now I am going to test the internal recording function of the WE10 Pro. So here you go, I'm using the WE10 Pro on a handheld microphone thing. So the recording function is actually turned on right now. So I'm recording both on the unit and on the receiver. So I'll just show you this. All right, so I'm not sure if that was clear, but the light that says rec is actually on. So I know that it is recording internally. So now I'm going to compare the sound that's coming from, you know, the recording and the sound that's coming from the camera from the receiver, which is at -6 right now. So I wanted to do this to compare with the settings that I want to use most with the receiver to the audio that's coming from the recording, because in the internal recording there are no settings that you could tweak. So what's recorded there, that's what you get. So I would like to compare if it sounds good compared to the recording coming out of the receiver. So I'm just going to talk right now and play this side by side, back to back in the video, just to compare the sounds of the two audio files. So I'm just going to talk right now and play this side by side, back to back in the video, just to compare the sounds of the two audio files. All right, so that is it. Again, I'm going to check in the computer how it sounds like, but now this is the advantage of having a recorder as opposed to, you know, just a transmitter. If I wanted to go far, or let's say, you know, between walls, then you could still hear me. I am not dependent on the signal that the transmitter is giving or sending to the receiver, because I am actually recording internally. So this is the sound quality of the internal recording of the WE10 Pro. I am just walking outside my house, and, you know, let me just go back in because you might be bored right now looking at the door. So there you go. That is the recording file, or the quality of the internal recorded audio of the WE10 Pro. All right, so I just listened to the comparison of the internal recording versus the recording in camera using the receiver, and I have to say, I like the sound of the internal recording very, very much. But take note of this, if you are using the internal recording file, then there is an additional step in post-processing, because you have to sync it up with the file of the video. But there is something that I experienced that I couldn't explain what's happening, because after I synced the first part of the internal recording to the video, after a pause, like a moment wherein there is no audio, no sound, it goes out of sync after that. When I talked again, it's not synced anymore to the audio of the video recording. So I cut up that part and moved it again to sync it, and then after another pause, it's out of sync again. So I'm not sure what's happening there, But yeah, that's weird. All right, so one of the things that I'll test right now is one of the main features, which is a dual transmitter wireless microphone. So I'm going to talk to Basti right now. So hi, Basti. You talk.
Hi.
Hi. What are you doing? What's this?
It's a map of my room.
It's a map of your room. Okay. So are you finished? No.
I think.
All right. Is this for homeschool?
Yeah, I think.
So I'm going to go far from Basti because you might say that, you know, it's just one microphone picking up the sound. So I'll stay here while Basti stays there. So I hope the wind doesn't ruin this. All right, there. All right, so hi, Basti.
Hi.
Are you done? Louder.
Yes.
Yes, okay, so he is done. So what are you going to do next for homeschool?
I don't know.
Don't know. Okay, he's gonna check with Mama. So there you go. I'm assuming you could hear both me and Basti with this system. All right, so right now I'm going to do a range test of the WE10 Pro. So we're gonna go outside. I estimated how far 30 meters is, so let's go. All right, so I'm going to walk back. Sometimes I'm gonna turn there. Let's see if the audio will break. So I'm going to go. Hear me? Can you still hear me? When I face there. So I'm breaking here, so it needs a clear of sight. Is that what you call it? Clear sight path. So good thing we have an internal recording to record everything that I'm saying. Can you still hear me? You still hear me? Okay. All right, so that's 30 meters. That was already 30 meters. Can you still hear me? Yes? Oh, this is. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? No, okay, so no. Can you tell me if you hear me? Can you still hear me? Can you hear me? You hear me here, about here. All right, I'll compute inside the studio how far that is, but it is more than 30 meters. All right, so let's just go inside because I feel the rain. Let's go inside. All right, so there you saw that even in short distances, once you turn around and there is no clear path from the transmitter to the receiver, then the audio cuts off. But the good thing is it exceeded the 30-meter range that it advertised in the box. The farthest that I was standing, wherein Joyce could still monitor my audio, was at around 42 meters. So there you have it. And this is where the recording or the internal recording function is a helpful feature, because as long as it's not a live video feed, then you could still have the audio from that recording because it's not dependent on the signal going to the receiver. Now, just a little cons about the Mirfak WE10 Pro. Number one is in the dual channel mode, they're not recording separately. So if I need to cut off or mute one of the speakers in post-production, I will not be able to do that. One workaround I can see for this is by using the internal recording functions of both transmitters and use those files when you are editing your video, because since they have their own files saved in their own SD cards, then you could edit out the file of one person if you really need to. But I hope in future products wherein you have dual recording capabilities, I hope Mirfak puts that option to separate the recording of the two transmitters. One more I really don't like about this is this foam. The Mirfak WE10 Pro actually comes with a wind foam, but for me, aesthetically, I don't like how it looks. So functionally, it works fine, but yeah, I don't like how that looks. And if you guys know me, aesthetics of the gear that I use is very, very important. So I don't know, I hope they could have, you know, designed a better looking wind muff. Also, it's really, really hard to put on. It uses this like elastic band, and I would have preferred something like a clip and twist system like the Rode Wireless Go 2 system. But overall, I am very, very satisfied with the Mirfak WE10 Pro. I think bang for your buck, the audio quality of this microphone system is top notch. Now, if you are living in the Philippines, this retails at 10,990 pesos. And if you are interested in getting one and would want a 10% discount, hit me up in my personal message. I will put the link of where you could send me a message for that 10% discount for the Mirfak WE10 Pro. So that is it for this video. Thank you for watching. If you're still here, I'd highly appreciate if you'd hit that like button. Also, if you haven't already and you like tech videos like this, please subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button and the bell notification icon so you'll get notified when I upload new videos. Also, like me on Facebook, follow me on Instagram, and I'll see you in the next video. See ya!